Morena everyone. Hang on, let me put my background on. You don't want to see this bedroom. Bed's not made. Kia ora everyone. Morena to everyone. I want to do a live to start doing some reading. I've been inspired by Hene Hotorene. If you haven't been following her morning lives regarding the maramataka, they're beautiful. It's really lovely listening to her story and her insights about the maramataka. So if you haven't yet met her, please hop onto her channel, her lives, and enjoy. So I'll see how it goes. She does it daily. I don't even know if I'll be able to keep it up, but I'm going to try. This is a book about psychiatric drugs, and it's by a psychiatrist, Diana Kopua. She is a critical psychiatrist. I am sort of a passive member of the Critical Psychiatry Network who have an email listing, and we communicate often. Well, I watch all the communications. Sometimes I contribute. I've been wanting to contribute actually since being involved with the Mahi Health Authority, and we're in the service development and planning space, and I have wanted to consult with the Critical Psychiatry Network, but I'm not sure how you all feel about the budget. Yesterday, watching the breakfast show, Jenny May, I thought really was nice this morning in challenging two different political parties about their thinking about the budget. And I loved her final question was asking them to consider what they liked about the budget, and the response back to gain clarity was, do you mean for me personally or as a citizen? And I thought that was really useful. And so I want to just read for a few minutes about this book, and if you're interested in purchasing it, go online, you'll find it. It's not too expensive, but for those of you who aren't interested in reading books, I thought I might just give it a read. And I'm going to start from the beginning, see how far I get. So the beginning of it starts with feedback from different people. So let me move past that and go straight into the introduction. So this book is called A Straight Talking Introduction to Psychiatric Drugs, The Truth About How They Work and How to Come Off Them, by Diana Kopua. It is a revised second edition, and we're going to go straight to the introduction. Right. What are mental health problems? Much of what is written and spoken about emotional distress or mental health problems implies that they are illnesses. This can lead us all too easily to believe that we no longer have to think about mental health problems because illness is best left to doctors. They are the illness experts, and psychiatrists are the doctors who specialise in mental illness. This series of books is different because we don't think that all mental health problems should be automatically regarded as illnesses. If mental health problems aren't necessarily illnesses, it means the burden of responsibility for distress in our lives should not be entirely shouldered by doctors and psychiatrists. I'll just stop there because many Māori have taken on that challenge and understood that mental health problems sit outside the health system. And so I think that's great, but let me just carry on reading. All citizens have a responsibility, however small, in creating a world where everyone has a decent opportunity to live a fulfilling life. This is a contentious idea, but one that we want to advance alongside the dominant medical view. Rather than accept that the ways of understanding and solutions to mental health problems are owned by the medical profession, we will take a good look at alternatives that involve the users of psychiatric services, their carers, whānau, families, friends, and other ordinary people taking control of their own lives. And that means all of us. One of the tools required in order to become active in mental health issues, whether your own or other people's, is knowledge. This series of books is a starting point for anyone who wants to know more about mental health. Okay, how these books are written. Information. We want these books to be understandable, so we use everyday language wherever possible. The books could have been almost completely jargon-free, but we thought that including some technical and medical terms would be helpful. Most doctors, psychiatrists and psychologists use the medical model of mental illness and manuals to help them diagnose mental health problems. The medical model and the diagnostic manuals use a particular set of terms to describe what doctors think of as conditions. Although these words aren't very good at describing individual people's experiences, they are used a lot in psychiatric and psychological services. So we thought it would be helpful to define these terms as we went along and use them in a way that might help readers understand what the professionals mean. We don't expect that psychiatrists and psychologists and others working in mental health services will stop using medical terminology, although we think it would be respectful for them to drop that jargon when talking to their patients and whānau. So these books should help you get used to and learn their language. The books also contain resources for further learning, as well as lists of books, websites and organisations. At the end of the book there are references. These will not be important to everyone, but they do tell the reader where information, a claim about effectiveness, an argument for or against, or a quotation has come from, so that you can follow it up if you wish. Being realistic and reassuring. Our aim is to be realistic, neither overly optimistic nor pessimistic. Things are nearly always more complicated than we would like them to be. Honest evaluations of mental health problems, of what might cause them, of what can help, and of what the likely outcome might be, are, like so much in life, somewhere in between. For the vast majority of people, it would be wrong to say that they have an illness from which they will never recover. But it would be equally wrong to say that they will be completely unchanged by the distressing thoughts and feelings that they are having. Life is an accumulation of experiences. There is almost certainly no pill or any other treatment, for that matter, that will take us back to how we were before. There are many things we can do, and we are looking at lots of them in this series, in collaboration with doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists and counsellors, and indeed everyone working in mental health services, with the help of our friends and family or on our own, that stand a good chance of helping us feel better and build a constructive life with hope for the future. Of course, we understand that the experiences dealt with in these books can sometimes be so overwhelming, confusing and terrifying that people will try to escape from them by withdrawing, going mad, or even trying to kill themselves. This happens when our usual coping strategies fail us. We accept that killing oneself is, in some circumstances, a rational act, that for the person in question, it can make a lot of sense. Nonetheless, we believe that much of the distress that underpins such an extreme course of action, from which there can be no turning back, is completely avoidable. For this reason, all of the books in the series point towards realistic hope and recovery. Debates. There is no single convenient answer to many of the most important questions explored in these books. No matter how badly we might wish for a simple answer, what we have is a series of debates or arguments, more like between stakeholders, and there are many stakeholders whose voices demand space in these books. We use the word stakeholders here because service users, carers, friends, whānau, doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, nurses and other healthcare workers, scientists in drug companies, therapists, indeed all citizens have a stake in how our society understands and deals with problems of mental health. It is simultaneously big business and intimately personal, and many things in between. As we go along, we try to explain how someone's stake in distress, including our own, where we can see it, where professional or personal can influence their experience and judgment. While we want to present competing, sometimes opposing viewpoints, we don't want to leave the reader high and dry to evaluate complicated debates on their own. We will try to present reasonable conclusions that might point in certain directions for personal action. Above all, though, we believe that knowledge is power and that the better informed you are, even though the information might be conflicting, the more able you will be to make sound decisions. It's also useful to be reminded that the professionals involved in helping distressed people are themselves caught in the same flow of conflicting information. It is their job, however, to interpret it in our service so that the best solutions are available to as many people as possible. You may have noticed that the word best brings with it certain challenges, not least defining what we mean when we use this term. Perhaps the best means the most effective. However, using words like effective doesn't completely clear up the puzzle. An effective treatment for an employer could be the one that returns a member of staff to work quickly. For a parent, it could be one that makes their child feel happier. For a peer, and calmer, happier and calmer. For the government, and it says or the NHS, which is a UK acronym for their service, the National Health Service or system. Right, for the government or someone running a private healthcare business, effective might mean cost effective. This brings us to evidence, and I'll carry on next time. I hope that was helpful. I'd love your feedback.